You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 178.3, our wrestling semi-state previews for the Newcastle and Fort Wayne semi-states, with Michelle Garmon of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
On Thursday evening, I spoke with Michelle Garmon of the Elwood Call Leader and Tipton Tribune, and we talked about the upcoming wrestling semi-states on Saturday. Let me say this up front in case I didn't say it while speaking to Michelle, but the top four in each weight class advance to next Saturday's state finals. That means wrestlers need 2 victories on Friday to advance. The semi-state at the Fort Wayne War Memorial Coliseum is scheduled for 8:30 in the morning, and the semi-state at the Newcastle Fieldhouse is scheduled for 9 a.m. Coming up, Michelle and I discuss the individual aspect mostly of the 2 semi-states with several local contending wrestlers, and we'll give you all of the top seeds and individual as well as the individual wrestlers. Here is my discussion with Michelle Garmon. Michelle, we're going to start at the Newcastle semi-state, and we're going to go through each weight class. And whenever you have a comment on any of the wrestlers, just feel free to jump right in.
Okay.
Warren Central is the defending champion and the 8-time semi-state champion. The regional champions from last week, feeding into the Newcastle sectional, were Westfield, Cathedral, Roncalli, and East Central. So we start in the 106-pound weight division, of course, and the number 1 seed is Westfield freshman Connor Maddox, who's 34-1. Northeastern senior Heath Kroll is the number 3 seed. He's 41-0, and he will start the day against LaPel freshman Grant Horning, who is 13-7. Noblesville freshman Kai Kahohi is 29-16 and is seeded 13th. At 113 pounds, Cathedral senior Nathan Reyes is the number 1 overall seed. He's 32-6. Elwood freshman Layden Morgan is the 11th seed and is 20-11. He will open against Westfield freshman Braden Head, who is 28-8.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one for Layden Morgan. If he would get by the Westfield kid, I don't think he will. But if he does, I don't think he gets past the second round.
It's definitely a tough road, especially for a freshman. First time doing it, different environment, but that's why they wrestle. By the way, once you get to this point, there there are some kids that aren't going to beat others no matter what happens, but almost every matchup, the kid is capable of beating the other one.
Uh, Almost, but I mean, there's
Anyone who
some.
gets out of those regionals, like I said, there are definitely some that's not going to happen, but
Well, I will say this. I think if a fourth place kid gets out, then it's because the best 4 wrestlers in that weight class came from his regional.
my point being that there's not a kid here who isn't capable of turning a defeat into a win with a pin. Every kid here is capable of
Yes,
winning
every
against a
kid
good
here is
wrestler.
capable if their opponent makes a mistake of
Right,
making them pay for it.
right, absolutely. That's the point I was trying to make. There are definitely favorites. Get me wrong. There are definitely kids we know are going to get through, but you're right. Um, At 120, Roncalli Jr. Blake Getz is the number 1 seed. He's 34-1. Westfield Senior Porter Temple is 34-4. He's the 4th seed. Alexandria Senior Ezra Fye is 37-4. He's seeded 6th and faces North Central Senior Kenny Sellers, who is 30-9 in the first round. Hamilton Heights Senior Cooper Doucette is 31-1 and faces Getz in the first round.
And I take me through because you got it up. I would have to go on my phone. I looked at him quickly. It's I would love to see Urza. He's come so close. I would love to see him get to state. I mean, he's got a tough matchup. North Central will wrestle tough schedule. I think he can win that first one. I'm trying to remember who does he wrestle. Who are the two wrestlers he would face if he wins his first round?
Well, I've got it right here, Michelle. Ezra faces, like we said, North Central senior Kenny Sellers in the first round. If he wins, he would face either the number 5 seed Jaden Coy from South Dearborn, who is a freshman. He's 24-10, or Westfield senior Porter Temples, who is 34-4.
Yeah, that's I feel sorry for Ezra because I think you have to win twice to punch your ticket to state. And I do think you can get it by the first one. I think Westfield is so solid. They've got such a good wrestling program. That will could be a tough second round match for him if he wins his first match. I'm pulling for him. Like I said, I'd love to see because I know he's put in a lot of time and a lot of hard work, and I would love to see him be able to get to the state tournament. But I feel bad because kind of the way it plays out, it's going to be that second. Of course, the second round's tough for everybody, but that is a tough matchup for him.
At 126 pounds, Fisher senior Chase Yant is the top seed, 33-2. Rossville freshman Luke Weaver is 32-10. He's the second seed. Eastern Hancock sophomore Braden Voles is 34-2 and is the 3 seed. And his first round opponent is Tipton junior Joseph Klosser, who is 16-13.
Yeah, Klausler's battling through a knee injury. He has been here late season. It's great for Joe to get there. I mean, he's still got another year. I think he'll struggle in his first round match. Definitely. Real quick, that Weaver kid, he's one of three
Yes, he is.
Weavers wrestling for Rossville, and the other two each have one loss apiece, and probably have a very strong, very good chance of coming out as a semi-state champion. In fact, I believe one of those Weavers won the state championship last year, or
Correct. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. And I would not pick a fight with that family.
no,
Yeah,
no, no, no.
at 132 pounds, Cathedral Junior Colin Crowley is the top seed. Elwood Junior Caden Simpson is the number 2 seed. He's 28-4 and takes on Batesville sophomore Adam Brewer's 35-5. So tough matchup. Looks like a really even field. Westfield
Yeah,
senior
I think
Carter Nickham is the 3rd seed, is 28-7. And Frankton senior Thaden Alexander is the 12th seed, is 29-8. And he'll take on Newcastle junior Tylen Thrine, who's 31-2.
yeah, I think because I think is that who Simpson would face in the second round. I think he'll have a tough time. I think he'll
Yeah,
also have a tough time punching his ticket out, right? Because,
very
uh,
tough weight class.
yeah, that is a tough weight class, and Newcastle's got a tough team, and
By the way, second round for him would be either 39-1 Donald Bowie from Warren Central or
oh, that's
24.
it. That's the
Yeah,
kid.
yeah.
I just don't. Warren Central's just so good, and they, and are so battle tested, and that I knew he was going to fail in the second round. It was going to be a tough a tough go for him, and I just
Yeah.
really,
Tough
you know,
division.
a tough division, and this is Caden's third year of making the semi-state. Now, the previous two, I believe he wrestled. I know last year he was in Fi's weight class, I believe. So
Wow. All right, at 138 pounds, New Pal Junior Gunner Butt is the top seed. Westfield Junior Alec Washburn is 29-6. He's the number 3 seed. Locally, Pendleton Heights Senior Alex Heineman is 24-4. He will face Southmont sophomore Camden Laney, who's 30-7. And Hamilton Heights Junior Simon Kuhn is 29-4. He'll take on Hamilton Southeastern Senior Matthew Billett, who's 25-14. I'm guessing they've wrestled each other before, Michelle.
I'm guessing they probably have.
At 144 pounds, South Dearborn senior Landon Walton is the number 1 seed. And locally, Hamilton Heights junior Justin Tilton is 30-7, and he takes on Fountain Central sophomore Dakota Willoughby, who's 29-3, and the winner gets the top seed. A hundred.
Yeah, there you win a match and get the top seed. There,
That's right.
the ticket
Speaking
round.
of getting the top seed at 150 pounds, Hamilton Heights Junior Aiden First is 29-12. He opens against the top seed, East Central Junior Naiden Houston.
Yeah, the 150 pound weight class. I am cheering for Hank Fennessy as Zionsville Jr. He is the son of former Tipton Blue Devil wrestler Luke Fennessy, and I believe I know Luke is in the 100 win club at Tipton, and I also believe he wrestled at the state finals when he was a wrestler for Tipton. And his mom, Jenny Fennessy, is a former Jenny Baumgartner, and
Mm,
um, her two brothers ran cross country, and her brother Craig was a really good cross country runner for Tipton, and yeah, and they have an older son who's a senior that was the starting safety for Zionsville on their football team, and he will be playing. He's going to Army on for football next fall. So
nice.
yeah, so
So
that's and
Hank is a junior at Zionsville. He's 32-9. He'll go against Mount Vernon's Robert Dodson, who's 24-6. He's a senior. That's in the first round. And if he wins, he would face Franklin County senior Trevor Bruns, who's 21-8, or Chatard senior Gabriel McAmee, who's 31-8. I would say he has a chance.
I think he does. I mean, he won the sectional, he won the regional, so he is wrestling really well right now, which is what that's what you want
Yep.
to be at this point.
And
And
in the 157-pound weight division, Warren Central senior Christian Arbery is the top seed. Rossville junior Jacob Weaver is 40-1. He's number 2. Alexandria junior Will Rowland is 37-6. He opens up against Rushville junior Denver Campbell, who's 28-8. Should be a good match. And Pendleton Heights senior Jackson Gibson goes against Milan senior Caleb Wilburn, who is one of the top seeds as well at 39-2.
yeah, I think Will's got a chance to win that first round match, but I think his second he'll have a tough time in the ticket round.
At 157 pounds. Oh, nope, that's wrong. At 165 pounds, Hamilton Heights senior Michael Kane is the top seed. He's 42-1 and just became Hamilton Heights all-time leader in wins and is a state championship contender. He
Yeah,
he'll
I
he'll
watched
open
him
up
wrestle.
the. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I watched him wrestle at the sectional, and
Mm,
he's a really good wrestler.
something else, also a good football player. Lawrence North Jr. Jericho Jackson gets the privilege of facing Michael Kane in the first round. Pendleton Heights junior Turner Seal, who was right in the match last week with Kane, is 30-12. He takes on New Pal junior Gabe Flick, who's 20-11. Carmel senior Michael Major is 33-3. Rossville junior Jacob Cole, the only guy from Rossville apparently not named Weaver on the team, is also a contender to get to state. And Alexandria sophomore Garrett Smith is 12-23, and he'll take on Roncalli senior James Dozier, who's 27-9.
That's a tough first round for him. Unfortunately, you know,
He got there, Michelle.
he got there. That's what I was getting ready to say. He got the privilege of getting there. He gets the experience, and it's
Yes,
always nice to have that experience.
for a sophomore especially.
Yes.
At 175 pounds, Fisher's junior Xavier Smith is the top seed. Anderson senior Jensen Schrock is also the second seed. He's 23-4. He'll take on Crawfordsville senior Braden Heights, who's
And
twenty-seven
I'm
and
not sure how
three.
Schrock is the second seed when he's been beaten by Will Wolford, pinned in both the
Yep.
sectional
I
and a regional championship match.
I don't know exactly how the seeds work, but that's exactly what it is. And
I,
Tipton Jr. William Wolford the is 31-3 and seated fifth. He will take on Westfield senior Eli Turner, who's 19-9.
I was looking through this, and I think William and the way he's been wrestling, and he's really turned it on
Yeah,
down the season. And
you got to
I
really
think
like
he
his
has a great
chances.
shot. I think he'll punch his ticket to the state tournament. And I think if he does, I think he would take on the Fishers kid in the semifinal. And I'm going
He
to tell
would.
you this about William Wolford is he's tough to beat on the mat because he's he's always so active, and I think what's made him better this year is he's a disciplined wrestler. He was just all aggressive, agility, quickness, you know, the previous 2 years, and but now he's disciplined, and with his quickness and his oh aggressiveness, he's having a terrific year. I think he punches his ticket
If he can
as
get by,
long as he doesn't have the flu.
yeah, exactly. We need to say that about everybody, I think. And at Madison Grant this week, the entire wrestling team was out for at least a day, so not good there at Madison Grant. We'll get to that one, of course, coming up. With a win, he would face either Ron Colley Jr. MJ Morton, who's 30-7, or Hagerstown Senior Roy Thornberry, who's 38-8. Yeah,
Yeah,
good
like I
chance.
said,
Yep.
that's why I said first two. If he wins his first two, and I think he's got a shot, I think he punches his ticket.
190 pounds, Cathedral Junior Kyle Harden is 33-3, is the top seed. Number two is Alexandria sophomore Camden and Shelton, who's 37-6. He'll take on Ron Colley Senior Gary Wiley, who's 25-11. Fisher Senior Chris Quarles is 33-5. He's the three seed. And Pendleton Heights sophomore Max Garner is 12-20. He's seeded 12th and faces Lawrence North Junior Michael White, who's 38-0.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Camden Shelton looks like he's got a shot.
Yeah, I think Camden Sheldon has a shot. He's wrestled very well the last 2 weeks, and he may actually, just because of the way the draw has gone, he may have. I think he has Alex's best shot. I mean,
Yep.
I think Fi's got a good shot. It's just going to be he's just got his first two opponents are just because of who they wrestled. I know that's Cal Warner, former Tipton coach, used to talk about that. He said you can't always look at records when you get to this level. He said you have to look at their competition. He said you might have a kid from Cathedral who has 8 losses, but
Yes.
they might, it might be he might be splitting with a kid from like Chittard and a kid from
Exactly.
in that. So he said, it's who a lot of times it's who you're wrestling, who you've wrestled against.
Yes. If Camden wins his first round match against Gray Wiley from Ron Colley, he'll face either Westfield sophomore John Stryker, but it will most likely be Newcastle junior Nathan Schaefer, who's 26-1 and seated seventh.
Yeah, and like I said, I know. Of course, Newcastle wrestles a tough schedule too. So it will be interesting. I do think this. I think the experience that Elliott got when they wrestled at the team state was huge for them.
At 215 pounds, the reigning state champion Rossville senior Noah Weaver is 41-1 and seated first. Northeastern senior Zane Schneider second. Noblesville sophomore Cale Metzler is the third seed, and New Pal junior Colin Wetzel is the fourth seed. Alexandria senior Levi Coons is seated eighth. He's 25-12 and takes on Greenfield Central junior Torsten Lawn, who's 24-11. Tipton sophomore Braden Height is 20-17 and takes on the 7 seed Perry Central senior Andy Warren, who's 12-5. And also locally, Frankton senior Jonah Ellis is 30-1. He'll take on New Pal junior Colin Wetzel, who we've already mentioned is 24-3. For Jonah to be 30-1 to get that draw, man, that's rough.
Yeah, that's the
Big
difference
division
between.
locally.
Yeah, and I mean part of that is too. Truthfully, that is, and I know you got pro wrestling's got a seated formula, but I mean I that may have changed. I just remember how they always used to say it was kind of a drawn and to where this fourth place winner is going to face this regional winner
Right, right.
and that stuff. And so and maybe and but I was but that's the difference. That totally is the difference between Jonah. He picked a tough time to lose his first match in the semifinals
Right.
at the regional, and that affects him
Right.
even
That
if
would
he
put him
has.
somewhere in the 9 to 12 range for the seedings.
Yeah, and and I think he now, and I don't know, maybe he's been battling flu. I think he's had some tougher matches here lately, and maybe losing that one match will take that pressure of being undefeated off of him. Jonah is very capable of beating anyone he gets with on the mat. I just think he's got to remember to wrestle smart, but be the aggressor. It's
If
um,
he wins his match, he would likely face Milan sophomore Zane Richardson, who's 34-3. Of course,
yeah,
Braden Height is in this division as well.
yeah. Braden Height is a sophomore. This is his second trip to the semi-state. And for a sophomore at 215 pounds,
Yeah, it is
you know,
different.
it
You're
is different. And
you're wrestling grown men most of the time.
yeah, and this experience is just, I think Braden just gets better. He's in a tough weight class. This experience is going to pay off, I think, for him. I think he's improved from year to year. Unfortunately, I think he's also in a weight class sometimes with some of the uh, people where they, wrestle, that sometimes he doesn't maybe get as much mat time as what maybe he, would help him, just because of forfeits sometimes. It's just all the way, how it goes. But
If he
yeah,
can
no,
get by Andy Warren from Perry Meridian, it would either be Hamilton Southeastern senior Evan Lawhead, who's 25-8, or Northeastern senior Zane Schneider, who's 28-5. Winning two in a row would be very difficult for Braden.
yeah, I don't see Braden getting out. I'm not sure I don't think he'll win his first match. I think the key for him will be to go and to wrestle hard, and at least, not make a mistake to get pinned early or anything, and take that match into the third period.
And Levi Coons is also the number 9 seed, and like I said, facing the 8 seed Tristan Lanham from Greenfield Central. That one could go either way, but the winner of that gets Noah Weaver in the next round.
Yeah, and that's why that's why when I was looking, that's why I don't think Coons is
Right.
going to have a
Correct.
shot at getting out of the semi-state unless something really drastic happens to the Weaver kid. So,
Like I said earlier in the podcast, there are some kids that we know are going to win,
yes,
but there at this level, though, it gets less and less. The
yes.
fewer
Well,
and fewer we know are going to win.
let's face it, the next weight class we're going to, that, because those are big guys, and that can be balance or momentum,
Yes,
and it's real
yes,
easy for some of those guys. Now, there are some that they're 285, but they're not 285. I mean, or
right,
they're muscle 285. I mean,
exactly.
they look like they could be a starting lineman for Ball State or IU.
And some of them might be. So,
Yeah.
all right. At 285, the top 3 seeds are all from Hamilton County. Westfield Junior Job Maverick is 23-3. Fishers Junior Camden Funk is 30-8. And Noblesville Junior Jackson Apple is 27-5. Our favorite wrestler at the Central Indiana Sports Report is Frankton Senior Ty Everson. I've been trying to get with Ty to do a podcast for a long time. I need him to get past this so we can do it and talk about wrestling. Either way, I will get with Ty really soon and we'll do a podcast because he's one of my favorites. Anyway, he is 18-7, takes on 9 seed East Central Senior Matthew Mittermeier, who's 20-11. Good shot for Ty to get past that one. And Alexandria freshman Hayden Stanley is 23-17. Really impressive for a freshman to get to the semi-state at 285. And
Oh,
Batesville
yes.
senior Max, he faces Batesville senior Max Amberger, who's 39-2.
Yeah. That is big for freshmen. Again, it's going to be hard, I think, for Ty to get out. But I think
Yeah.
Ty's done a
Let's hope he can
wonderful.
win one, though.
Pardon?
Let's hope he can win the first one, though,
Yes.
because Maverick from Westfield is going to be awfully tough to beat.
Yes, he is.
And I just want to say one more time, freshmen who are 106, 113, that happens all the time. But a freshman at 285 getting into the semi-state, I'm looking here, he is one of two freshmen in the whole class. So
Yeah.
impressive. Before we move on to the semi-state at Fort Wayne at the War Memorial Coliseum, fantastic event up there. Do us a huge favor and go subscribe to our new YouTube channel. Just search Central Indiana Sports Report. It's really easy to find. Eventually, we're going to start having videos with our audio as well. So you're going to want to, even if you're subscribed at Amazon, Apple, um, Spotify, or SoundCloud, you're going to want to go over to YouTube and subscribe as well. Because, like I said, we'll have videos and other things going on at YouTube. And now to my preview with Michelle Garmon of the Elwood Call Leader and Tipton Tribune of the Fort Wayne Semistate. Delta is the defending and 9-time semi-state champion. The team regional champions coming into the semi-state were Delta, Homestead, Northridge, Belmont, and North Miami. I would guess that Belmont is the favorite going into this, but I'm not certain. Delta's awfully good too, and they got a lot of kids here. Starting at 106 pounds, New Haven senior Juliana Ocampo is the number one seed. She is 44-0 on the year, Michelle.
Yeah, she is one of, I believe she is one of two females that chose to wrestle in the boys' tournament. And they are both ranked. And I think the last time I saw the rankings for that weight class, I believe they are both ranked in the top 7.
Pretty amazing. That is one great athlete.
Yes.
All right, Mechanical freshman Ari Schrock is the 3 seed. Delta freshman Reed Wicker is 5th. Yorktown junior Jackson Webb 6th. And Eastern freshman Carson Young is the 6th seed. At 113 pounds, Central Noble Jr. Charlie Fleshman is the top seed. Manchester Jr. Rex Moore is 3rd. He's 43-1. And Mississinawa sophomore Ian McVicker is 40-2 and seeded 4th. He'll take on Westdell senior Zach Reno, who's 20-5 in the first round. Delta Junior Cade Jackson is the 7th seed, and Oak Hill sophomore Manny Mora is the 9th seed. Muncie Central senior Nathan Spears is seeded 14th. And looking at Manny Mora, like I said, he is the 9th seed. Good chance for him to get past the opening round. And if he does, man, he is going to have a really tough match in the second round. Okay, 120 pounds. Delta senior Aiden Bullinger is the top seed. Western junior Brady Shannon is 10th. Oak Hill senior Colin Tarleton is 29-12 and takes on New Haven senior Timmy Roca, who's 41-3. Yorktown sophomore Ben Bush is seeded 15th. At 126 pounds, Garrett senior Cameron Baker is the top seed. Marion sophomore Hickson Love is 39-1 and seeded 3rd and has a very good shot, not only at getting out of the semi-state, but winning the 126-pound division. Eastern freshman Tristan Elmore is seeded 9th and would face the top seed Cameron Baker if he won his first round match. DeKalb senior Drew Waldron is the number 1 seed at 132 pounds. Madison Grant Jr. Trip Hazley is the 5th seed. He's 38-2 and will take on Northridge sophomore Landon Wade, who's 29-1 in the first round. Delta sophomore Sam Mosier seeded 7th. Yorktown senior Jaden Klein 14th. Tri-Central senior Jayton Archer is 26-8. He will take on Lakeland freshman Quentin Dallin, who is the 2nd seed. And Kokomo junior Xavier Ford is the 16th seed and will take on the top seed Walden.
Yeah, I'm happy for Jayton to get to the semi-state level. He's gonna have to really be on the top of his game to win the first match and the Bunch's ticket to get out. A tough road for him. He probably doesn't But what a nice way to end your high school wrestling career with I think it's his first trip to the semi-state, so that's pretty cool.
And I think Trip Hazley might be the favorite to get out of to win two matches here. I really like his chances. He
I
starts
do
ag-
too.
he starts against Northridge sophomore Landon Wade, who's 21-9, and then would face either Fort Wayne Snyder senior Deacon Rhodes, who's 31-7, and will probably be the opponent, or South Adams sophomore Will Patterson, who's 27-6. Gotta like Hazley's chances there.
I like his chances there too. The key will be if it's a Snyder kid again, he will have wrestled a lot of tough
Yes, he
competition.
will.
And and don't get me wrong with things. And part of that will probably be um how bad if Paisley if he was out and he's had the flu, how much is it zapped his his strength if he can I think for him probably if he could go out and win his first round match by a pin in the first period, that would probably be good for him to conserve
Yeah.
energy if he's been sick. That's the whole. But who knows? His opponent may have been sick. The guys above him may have been sick. It's one just never knows.
Michelle, as someone who covered wrestling some in Fort Wayne, I don't think people know how good the wrestling is there because in the city it's not that great. But if you are from Snyder and you're 37-6, you're facing kids from Belmont, New Haven, DeKalb, Adams Central. You're facing some really good competition up there.
Yes, you are.
At 138 pounds, speaking Adams Central, the top seed is Adams Central sophomore Dylan Ogg, who's 43-1. Kokomo junior Christian Damewood is the second seed. He's 34-8 and has an excellent chance of getting out, as does Western senior Liam Baumgartner, who is 32-3 and takes on Bluffton freshman Parker Barnes, who's 30-7. By the way, Christian Damewood from Kokomo's, he opens with a really tough match. Cowan freshman Ashton Goney, that could go either way. And Eastern junior Owen Toll is 27-6. He goes against Belmont's 37-7 Henry Farote, who's a sophomore. Also, we have in this division Oak Hill sophomore Braid Arthur is 30-12. He unfortunately starts with the top seed Dylan Ogg from Adams Central. We got lots of kids in these class at this regional Michelle or this semi-state Michelle.
Yeah, we do. I'll be interested to see how well Owen Toll wrestles, because he's a pretty strong kid. His dad and his uncle both wrestled. In fact, his uncle was a really good wrestler for Tri Central. So
At 144 pounds, Northfield senior Cameron Pratt is the top seed. Wabash sophomore Corbin Goshert is second. I would be very surprised, though, if Yorktown senior Wyatt Hoppus is not in the top four at the end of the day. He's 35-5. Western junior Eric Hunt's 29-10. He's seated 11th. Kokomo senior Gabe Newland is 33-5 and seated 12th. Cowan sophomore Jacob Unger is 14-6 and is the 16th seed. At 150 pounds, Northfield sophomore Elijah Gall is 44-0 and is the top seed. His sister, of course, won a state championship in the girls' state finals. Delta senior Zeke Witter is the 10th seed and is 18-14. And Oak Hill sophomore Caden Jones is 25-6 and takes on Concord senior Drew Trigg, who's 31-3 and seated second. At 157 pounds, Cowan Jr. Jackson Bradley is unbeaten and the top seed in the division. He's 28-0. Mechanical Jr. Evan Oglesby is third. Wabash freshman Aiden Hahn is fourth. Madison Grant Jr. Grant Howard is 22-2. He'll take on Angola senior Blake Denman, who's 34-6. If he gets past that one, he would face Jackson Bradley, the top seed from Cowan.
tough draw.
Tough draw. Well, we think he can get past the first round, so it should be a really good day for Madison Grant.
Yes.
At 165 pounds, West Noble senior Tegan Klaus is the top seed, 36-2. Marion Junior Sean Campbell is 36-3. He's the 8th seed. Kokomo sophomore Devin Rush is 25-14 as the 4th seed. And Cowan senior Noah Modulin is 29-11 and is the 16th seed. At 175 pounds, the number 1 seed is Homestead senior Jake Thrash, who's 37-3. Our only local wrestler in this division is Delta senior Cabe Stebbins, who's 31-4, has an excellent chance of getting to state. He's the 3rd seed. And also at 175 pounds, Michelle, Tri Central senior Corey Dowden, he's 36-3. He opens against Adams Central senior Matt Heiser, who's 28-5, so really tough first round. But he looks capable of getting to state as well.
Yes, it's his first round and then his second round. It's gonna be kind of tough
Well,
for
tough
him
route, but
to. But yeah, he has. He's got a shot, and I know he's made that a goal, a big goal for this. He's a senior, and so he really wants to get to state. So I hope he's healthy, and I hope he wrestles well on Saturday, and he can achieve his goal.
if he can get past his first round match, he would face either Leo's Paul Woods, who's 28-11, or most likely DeKalb senior Dominic Dunn, who's 35-7.
Yeah, that's the tough thing because he's wrestling. He wrestles two wrestlers that come from outstanding programs.
Absolutely. From, yeah, like we said, the Fort Wayne surrounding area. We also have a contender from Tri Central at 285 pounds. But first, Homestead senior Caleb Evans is the top seed. He's 39-1. Tri Central junior Patrick Kinney is another one of the top seeds. He's officially the 4 seed. He will go against Northwood senior Bryson Davis, who's 29-8. Gotta like Patrick's chances.
I do if Patrick is healthy. Um, he injured a knee against the Peru kid um, in the regional final, and Peru kid is pretty good himself. And of course, that program is coached by former Tipton High School two-time state medalist Andy Hobbs. And Andy Hobbs is also a North All-Star in football, class of 1986. Comes from an outstanding family, but he coaches in. But for Patrick, it'll be how good is that knee? Big thing for him. The key will be, can he? Is it good enough to get him through 2 matches? Is it going to be strong enough to get him through two matches?
And the problem is, in the second round, waiting for him would be Belmont Junior Grady Baker, who's 38-5 and one of the top wrestlers in the class.
Yes, exactly. So that's what's this is Patrick's 3rd straight year of making it to the semi-state. Um, so and I think he gets better he's another wrestler that just gets better every year. I mean, I think he made it to the semi-state at 285 as a freshman, and and then again last year as a sophomore, and now as a junior. And I just hate to see his junior year. That I hated it that I would have liked to see, had he not injured his knee, how that regional championship match would have played out. But I'm hoping he's good to go, and hoping, and I hope he doesn't hurt if he goes. I just hope he doesn't hurt the knee again, or suffer any more of a serious injury. So.
Also at 285, Muncie Central senior Cortez White has a chance to get to state as well. He's 32-11. Oak Hill junior Thane Jones is 15-5. He's the 14th seed. He will open with Northridge senior Brody Steeder, who is definitely a semi-state championship contender. He's 15-1. And that's it, Michelle. Thank you so much for going through the seeds with me, and looking forward to seeing what happens.
Yeah, I am too. I'm hoping, Gray, that we get some local kids out. And for me, I mean, I know for the Central Indiana Sports Report podcast, it's a bigger area. For me personally, the smaller area, and I'm going to include Madison Grant in that small area, I would love to see Alexandria and Elwood and Frankton and Madison Grant and Tipton and Tri Central
It would seem
Even
like the
hide,
best
hides to
chances.
get out. And I really want to see the fantasy kid get out. I think that would be really cool.
It really seems like our best chance is Tipton County has three or four pretty good chances. The Madison County teams, it's going to be really tough for probably any of them, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if Trip Hazley is there and Boston Caudell. Don't count him out.
No, I don't count him out. I personally, I kind of personally think that either one of the Madison Grant kids and Wolford are probably, just the way the draws went, are probably the two best chances of getting out.
Thanks so much again to Michelle Garmon for joining the Central Indiana Sports Report. Enjoy that and appreciate it every single time. And thank you for listening. Please do us a favor and tell a friend about the Central Indiana Sports Report. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media.